Welcome back to Football Daily, where after a season of managerial mishaps, we've decided to bring you 10 managers who took a big job too soon. Let's go. 10. Wayne Rooney. It may be a push to call the Derby County job a big one, but it was quite clear that Wayne Rooney was very quickly out of his depth at Pride Park. England's record goalscorer moved from the East Midlands 18 months earlier as a player, but upon the sacking of Philip Cocu with the Rams bottom of the championship, Rooney announced his retirement and took charge. He started strongly on the sidelines, losing just 5 games from 19 after taking over in late November through until early March. The 32 points Rooney picked up from a possible 57 saw them rise from the bottom and 6 points adrift of safety to 18th and 8 points clear of the drop zone. However, the 35-year-old would lead the Rams to just one more victory for the rest of the season, and 6 straight defeats meant that a final day loss to Sheffield Wednesday would see them go down. Fortunately for Rooney, his side scraped a 3-3 draw, avoiding relegation by a point. As a club, Derby County might be a state, and whilst that isn't Rooney's fault at all, he's definitely started his managerial career in the deep end. 9. Andrea Villas-Boas. Touted as the next Jose Mourinho, Andrea Villas-Boas cost Chelsea a then world record €15 million compensation when they poached him from Porto. Very much a Mourinho protege, having followed him from Portugal to Milan via London, a lot was expected from the then 33-year-old upon his arrival at Stamford Bridge in the summer of 2011. AVB started comfortably, winning 6 of his first 8, while the Blues sat in third, seemingly ready for a title challenge. But it wasn't to be, with the young manager's Chelsea career set to last just 5 more months, in which he'd win just 7 more league fixtures. Chelsea would drop out of the top 4 following a 2-0 defeat to Everton in February, with the players questioning his tactics in front of owner Roman Abramovich the next day. Later the same month, AVB would leave Ashley Cole, Michael Essien and Frank Lampard out of a Champions League knockout tie against Napoli, which they lost. And that was the final straw. He was sacked, and whilst he's had a decent managerial career since, Villas-Boas' only major trophies have come in Russia. Meanwhile, Roberto Di Matteo promptly came in and won the Champions League. 8. Nico Kovach. A manager for around a decade before taking the job with Bayern Munich, it seems that was a step too far for Nico Kovach. The former Croatian manager had enjoyed a successful stint at Eintracht Frankfurt, coming in with the Adler battling the drop late in the 2015-16 campaign before making back-to-back Pokal finals, winning it in 2018. This was enough for Bayern to hire him, where their minimum expectation is a Bundesliga title. And whilst Kovach did achieve that, it was hardly convincing, edging out Borussia Dortmund by just 2 points. The following campaign also started relatively strongly. Unbeaten and top after 6 matches, his side would even humiliate Tottenham in the Champions League, defeating them 7-2 at the Tottenham Hotspur Stadium, Bayern Munich's second biggest win in European competition. But after just 1 win in 4, slipping outside the top 3 in an embarrassing 5-1 defeat to former club Frankfurt, the Croatian was handed his notice at the Allianz Arena, where his tactics had begun to look vulnerable and his defence exposed. Now Kovach is at Monaco, where he has helped the club recover from a couple of seasons in the wilderness to challenge for the Champions League places once more. 7. Paul Ince. Another example of a manager taking a position beyond their experience is Paul Ince. The former England international started his career on the sidelines with League 2 club Macclesfield Town. Taking over with the club 7 points from safety in 2006-07, he sealed their survival on the last day of the campaign before moving to MK Dons. Leading the Milton Keynes club to promotion from League 2 the following season, Ince was continuously linked with Premier League jobs, including Derby and Wigan. In the summer of 2008, he got the job at Blackburn Rovers, who had just finished 2 points of European qualification in 7th. However, it was clear that Ince was not cut out for the top flight yet. Despite spending over £10 million in the summer windows on the likes of Paul Robinson and El Hadj Diouf, he won just 3 of his 17 fixtures in charge at Ewood Park, leaving them in 19th when he was sacked, following a 6-game losing streak. Since then, Ince hasn't managed again in the Premier League, with underwhelming spells back in charge of MK Dons, then Notts County and Blackpool between 2009 and 14. 6. Peter Bosz. Peter Bosz has been in the dugout for 21 years, working his way up through the Netherlands football pyramid, managing the likes of Vitesse, Israeli side Maccabi Tel Aviv and Ajax. The pinnacle for any aspiring Dutch head coach. But it wasn't until the summer of 2017 he was appointed by Borussia Dortmund, who paid €5 million for him, that he actually managed in one of Europe's top 5 leagues. Spending €90 million on players including Jadon Sancho and Andrei Yarmolenko, and with Pierre-Emerick Aubameyang leading the line, the expectation for Bush was to challenge Bayern Munich's dominance, or at very least be a comfortable Champions League side. And it started smoothly, with BVB winning 6 of their first 7 Bundesliga matches, building up a 5-point lead. But then their form turned, and they went winless in their next 8, even throwing away a 4-0 lead against bitter rival Schalke in a 4-4 draw. By mid-December, Bosch's side were 8th, 13 points off Bayern Munich at the top, held the 5th worst defensive record in the league, and had a disastrous European campaign, going winless in their Champions League group. It's no surprise that Bush lasted just 6 more months before being sacked. 5. Mikel Arteta. Now, this isn't us writing off Mikel Arteta by any stretch of the imagination, but it can't be ignored that his time in charge of Arsenal has been, well, underwhelming. We can almost give him a free pass for his first half of season as Gunners manager, having inherited Unai Emery's problems, but being anointed as the second coming of Pep Guardiola certainly got fans in North London very excited. The FA Cup victory last August suggested things were heading in the right direction, as did 3 wins from their opening 4 fixtures this campaign. However, a run of just 1 win in 10, which happened to be over Manchester United by the way, saw Arteta's side fall to 15th, just 4 points above the relegation zone. While relegation was never a real threat, let's be honest, and Arsenal's form has since recovered to see them finish comfortably in the top half, the scale of the task seemed to be much bigger than expected, with Arteta still some way from turning the Gunners back into Champions League regulars. In fact, they could finish completely outside the European spots for the first time since the 1990s this season. Mikel Arteta could still turn out to be a great hire, but time is running out to prove it. 4. Steve McClaren. Hardly an exciting name, Steve McClaren did have an impressive CV when he was made England manager in 2006. He led Middlesbrough to their first ever major trophy, the 2004 League Cup, and was previously the assistant manager to Sir Alex Ferguson at Manchester United, and was already a coach with the Three Lions. McClaren's first and ultimately only task was simple: qualify for Euro 2008. But it was a disaster, as defeats away to Croatia and draws to Macedonia and Israel meant qualification was out of their hands. England were even booed off after a 3-0 win over Andorra. It doesn't get much lower than that. This led to a fateful night in Wembley in 2007. England lost 3-2 at Wembley to Croatia in the rain, leading to that iconic image of McClaren standing beneath an umbrella as the Three Lions failed to qualify for the tournament for only the 2nd time since the 1970s. He may have won the Eredivisie title with FC Twente a year later, but his reputation in England was forever tarnished, despite having been in a position to carve out a decent career as a Premier League manager only 18 months earlier. 3. Frank Lampard. While some players went straight into a big managerial job and crumbled, Frank Lampard appeared to have taken the smarter route, starting his career on the sidelines with Derby County and leading them to the Championship playoff final in his debut campaign. Then he was appointed manager of Chelsea. His first year in charge at Stamford Bridge was pretty successful, with his history meaning comparatively less pressure than previous Blues bosses, resulting in Champions League qualification. But entering this season, the stakes were higher, with a belief that Chelsea, having spent over £200 million on transfers, could be title challengers. A previously strong defence started to crack, with the likes of Kai Havertz and Timo Werner struggling to live up to their initial hype. Unable to get a grip as Chelsea tumbled down the table, Lamps was handed his P45, with the side languishing in 9th. Some felt this was too soon, but Thomas Tuchel's arrival certainly seems to have turned things round for the most part. Lampard has definitely showcased his ability as a manager before, and it's just a case now of making the right next step for the good of his career. 2. Thierry Henry. One such example of a former player being held up as a saviour upon his arrival is Thierry Henry at Monaco. Leaving his role as an assistant under Roberto Martinez for Belgium in October 2018, Henry found himself in charge of a side in 18th with just 6 points from 9 games, replacing Leo Jardim. Expressing a desire to replicate the football he played under Pep Guardiola at Barcelona, with the side battling for Ligue 1 survival. It would take a month for the Arsenal legend to get his first win at the Stade Louis, but not before 4-0 defeats in back-to-back fixtures against PSG in the league and Club Brugge in Europe. Despite signing former teammate Cesc Fabregas in January, Henry's side hardly improved during the transfer window. A 5-1 defeat to Strasbourg was the final straw, as the World Cup winner was sacked just 3 months into his managerial job, with just 4 wins from 19 during his tenure. Monaco even fell a spot to 19th, meaning Henry left them in a worse position, with the club rehiring the man that Henry had just replaced, Leo Jardim. Number 1. Andrea Pirlo. Technically speaking, the Juventus job wasn't Andrea Pirlo's first managerial role. The Italian was effectively promoted from coaching the under-23s, a position he had only been appointed to just 9 days earlier. And whilst there's no doubting his ability and connection with the Juve fans, his first campaign as a manager has the club tumbling from their perch atop Serie A. Pirlo actually went unbeaten in his first 12 league matches, but only won half of them, with the old lady in 4th at the end of that run. Since then, they've performed adequately, if not impressively, holding on to that final Champions League spot until recently. And as usual, the Bianconeri underperformed in Europe, this time being knocked out by Porto in the round of 16. So much for Project Ronaldo. Ultimately, Juve's downfall has felt like it's been in the works for a little while now, despite them having won the last 9 league titles. Even though it has seemed inevitable, failure to qualify for the Champions League probably will see Pirlo lose his job. And whilst that might seem harsh, you wonder if a more qualified manager definitely would have got more out of this side, which in reality hasn't changed too much from the previous season. So that was our list of 10 managers who took the job too soon. Who would you have included? Let us know in the comments, and if you enjoyed this video, make sure you hit the like button, hit subscribe. We'll catch you later. See ya. Bye.